out there. Today is a day to remember. I'm sure you know what I am talking about. For many around the world, and especially Americans, it is a day they hope will turn around the fortunes of their country for the better, as the baton of leadership shifted from the Republicans to the Democrats and from Trump to Biden. We have all of it on the program. The Federal Executive Council has returned for business, and teachers take the lion's share of decisions at today's deliberations. The National Identity Number registration and linkage to SIM cards is a struggle for many. What is the latest on the issue? Find out here. COVID-19 is still raging even as the world is also moving on. We won't leave you wondering what is happening in that health sphere. These major issues plus security issues, road safety, empowerment, agriculture, sports, and much more. So if I were you, I will grab a cup of tea or whatever makes you comfortable and come along with me as I will bring you the news package that comes with that extra touch. So I say welcome. I am Fatima Umar Buba, and this is News Extra. And we begin. It is a new day in America as Democrat Joe Biden assumes office as the 46th President of the United States of America. Biden and his vice, Kamala Harris, took the oath of office under a security-tight ceremony attended by very few dignitaries, including the Clintons, Obamas, and the immediate past Vice President Mike Pence. Joyce Omitu monitored the ceremony that was observed under COVID-19 protocols.
It is the 46th presidential inauguration of the United States of America, the country that is recognized as a home of democracy. The inauguration of Joe Biden and his vice, Kamala Harris, has added 3 new pages in the history of America. The first is Joe Biden being the oldest person to emerge as the president at 78. Another history is Kamala Harris becoming the first female to occupy the office of the American vice president. And the third is their inauguration conducted in a restrictive environment without the usual 250,000 invitees.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States, will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So help me God. And I pledge this to you. I will be a president for all Americans. All Americans. And I promise you, I will fight as hard for those who did not support me as for those who did.
Ahead of the swearing-in ceremony, the outgone President Donald Trump vacated the White House. He was honored with 21 gun salutes before leaving the seat of power, and he wished the new administration well as he left a note for the new occupant of the House. The major task before the new administration is fulfilling its campaign promises as the world awaits foreign and trade policies that will be introduced by Biden and his cabinet. Joyce Ometu, NTA News.
Oh, thank you so much, Joyce. And we'll be talking more on the inauguration with Ambassador Ken Nwachukwu. He is the former Nigerian ambassador to Mali. It's good to have you on News Extra.
Thank you, Fatima.
All right. So what do you make of the inauguration speech by Joe Biden?
I think today was a pivotal moment for the American society because a fortnight ago we thought everything was coming to a halt, given the attack by Trump supporters at the Capitol Hill. But if you listened to the statement by President Joe Biden, it had little nuggets for everybody. And he said for the internal audience, I'm going to be your president, whether you voted for me or not. And to the international community, he said that, listen to me, we are ready to re-engage. And I think that's quite comforting, very different from the dissonance that we got from the Trump administration.
Okay. Okay, so well, the inauguration, has brought about the climax. A fraction of few months of elections, post-election litigations, accusations, and counter-accusations in the transition period. So, how does President Biden achieve a buy-in into his agenda by all Americans?
Biden has always proven to be a uniter. If you noticed this morning in the church activity he went with Mitch McConnell, the immediate past leader of the Senate, Kevin McCarthy, who was actually one of the cheerleaders for the events of January 6th. On the Capitol Hill. And what he has done is to carry everybody along. And I think that sets the right tone and the right example for everyone to follow.
Okay, I will take you back a bit. African continent took a bashing, from former President Trump. What should the continent expect, from the new administration?
The new administration has already said it's going to be a straight departure from the descent into tropes, insults, misogyny, and the like we had in Trump administration. It wasn't just African countries, it was practically everyone. Everyone is receiving a sigh of relief. And I believe with the person of Joseph Biden, America is going to hit a reset button in its international relations, and we hope to have a friendlier disposition from the United States.
No, is it because we have a black, a black, vice president, or would you think that will help, the new administration achieve a lot?
Absolutely, yes. But it goes beyond the symbolism of having a black, African, Asian
vice
president. It goes to the what is America, because if you look at the makeup of the incoming administration, it tries to reflect what is America. You have people, blacks, whites, the browns, the blacks, the gays, straight, everybody's in there. So I think there's sufficient buy-in from the society. It tries to reflect who they are, what they have tried to sweep under the carpet for the last 4 years.
Okay, so you feel having her as a vice president is a good one too?
Absolutely, yes.
All right. So do you have anything to say to Nigerians concerning the inauguration, like a takeaway or something?
A lot of Nigerians have been nominated into this administration, and I think it speaks to the vibrancy of the Nigerian society in the United States. Yes, I know that they are Nigerians, but they are first and foremost U.S. citizens. We take joy in that, and it is quite gratifying that they are there. It's an opportunity for more Nigerians to strive for higher heights, to know that they can play roles, whether here in Nigeria or in the United States.
So thank you so much. We wish the new administration all the best. It's good to have you, News Extra, once again.
Thank you very much, Fatima.
Yes, that was Ambassador Ken Nwachukwu, former Nigerian ambassador to Mali. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris on their inauguration as President and Vice President of the United States of America on Wednesday, expressing hope that their presidency will mark a strong point of cooperation and support for Nigeria as well as the African continent. In a statement, President Buhari felicitates with the leaders and the entire country on the successful transition, which marks an important historical point for democracy as a system of government and for the global community as a whole. The president says Nigeria is looking forward to the Biden presidency with great hope and optimism for strengthening of existing cordial relationship, working together to tackle global terrorism, climate change, poverty and improvement of economic ties and expansion of trade. President Buhari and Nigerians rejoice with President Joe Biden, sharing the feeling that the first woman elected Vice President of the United States has an African and Asian ancestry. And we'll head to fact. A bill seeking to give a legal backing to the harmonization of retirement age for teachers in Nigeria has been approved by the Federal Executive Council. The Minister of Education, Adamu, who announced this while briefing journalists after the council's meeting, described the bill as a giant step forward towards enhancing teaching and learning in the country. And State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
This is the first meeting of the highest policy decision-making body of the Nigerian government for the year 2021 and the 30th to be held virtually in the new normal. With President Muhammadu Buhari presiding, the meeting considered and approved several memoranda aimed at sustaining Nigeria's trajectory on the path of socio-economic development for a prosperous future. One of them, a harmonized retirement age for teachers in Nigeria Bill 2020, to be forwarded to the National Assembly for enactment into law.
The essence of the bill is seeking for approval so that there is legal backing for the new retirement age of 65 years for teachers. And then the service period being extended to 40 years. The President approved the reintroduction of bursary awards, which I told you here last year, improving teacher quality, funding teaching practice now from TET fund, rural posting allowance, science teacher allowance, and then of course we had the Teacher Registration Council of Nigeria, TRCN, under us that has professionalized the profession.
The intention, the minister explained, is to attract and retain the best brains in the teaching profession towards improving educational standards.
I want to assure teachers that this government will do to them what has never been done. And this is the first, the biggest step. All the promises the President made, all the approvals that he had given me of some special packages for teachers would now begin to be put into effect because this is a legal backing that is required for it.
Also approved by the Council is the award of contract for the upgrade of electricity component in the Calabar Free Trade Zone area.
The contracts were initially awarded in 2018 to upgrade the electrical facilities in the Free Trade Zone area, and it was not completed. So we brought a memo, and Council approved the sum of 1,484,000 naira for the completion of the electrical upgrade of the Calabar Free Trade Zone area.
On his part, the Minister of Agriculture, Muhammad Sabo Nanono, secured the Council's ratification of a treaty on plant genetic resource for food and agriculture.
The input of this treaty is for the advancement and the enhancement of the agricultural production in the country, as it affects also other countries, about 167 of them. It will enhance training and research of our agricultural scientists, agricultural practitioners, and so on and so forth.
Before the commencement of the Council's meeting, a moment of silence was observed in honor of two former ministers who died recently. They were Jibril Martins Kuye from Ogun State, who served in the Ministry of Finance, Commerce and Industry, as well as Bala Kaoje from Kebbi State, who was Minister of Sports. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the meantime, newly appointed members of the Code of Conduct Bureau and Police Service Commission have been sworn in by President Muhammadu Buhari to fill existing vacancies in the critical organs of government. The swearing-in ceremony, which preceded the meeting of the Federal Executive Council, was in fulfillment of constitutional provisions. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo again has the report.
Those sworn in as members of the Code of Conduct Bureau were Ehezua Johnson Agbonaima from Edo State, Benedict Omiano Anambra, and Babatunde Olainka Balogun Ogun State. Oyemuche Nnamani from Enugu State took oath as member of the Police Service Commission. The Code of Conduct Bureau is established to maintain a high standard of public morality in the conduct of government business and to ensure that accountability is not compromised in actions and behavior of public officers. For President Muhammadu Buhari, whose administration's hallmark is the fight against corruption, this is one agency of remarkable significance. And indications are that the newly appointed members are coming on board to make a world of difference.
I have all my life attempted to fight indiscipline, corruption, and general audacity in the society. I've used my position as a police officer to do so over the years. So having me been invited over to a Code of Conduct Bureau means that this is an opportunity to actualize those things that have been conceptualizing. I would now be in a position to bring this thing to the doorsteps of Nigerians. This is how we should conduct ourselves. This is what the law says. And by the grace of God, we tend to not just preach it, we want to enforce it.
What is important to me and to my colleagues, I believe that this country deserves to get the best. Corruption has eaten up deeply, and it's so sad. President Buhari cannot just do it alone. It will require everyone. Let us put Nigerian first.
The president will not regret appointing me as a member of the CCB, but I will do my best. I'll make sure that I will write my name in the annal of history.
The newly appointed member of the Police Service Commission also promised to make the desired impact in the discharge of his responsibilities.
I will contribute my own quota to trying to see where I can raise the standard. You know, answers, I know all the problems of Nigerian police. It's a familiar story. We'll try and do what we can do to have positive changes in the police force.
The Police Service Commission has a mission to improve service delivery in the Nigeria Police Force by promoting transparency and accountability. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Now, there seem to be misconceptions in some quarters regarding deadlines for the ongoing linkage of National Identity Number, NIN, with SIM cards as directed by the federal government. ICT correspondent Joseph Johnson set out to seek clarifications on the matter and also explored the latest on the registration exercise.
The gate of NIMSI's headquarters, few enrollees still gather. Some insisting to get in, while others look through the list of centers in search of where to go for enrollment. While this is on, the Technical Implementation Committee under the Ministerial Task Force had on Monday reviewed the exercise and found out that 47.8 million NINs have so far been collected by the mobile operators. Many Nigerians are yet to understand the deadlines, though.
The presidential directive, the deadline still remains, and it is February 9th. That for people that don't have need to have the need, and also for the people that already have need to make sure that they link it to their SIM. And on the foreigners, that we have worked with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we set up a special center for the foreigners since Monday, and they have been working in foreign affairs.
At the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the said center for enrollment of members of the diplomatic corps was busy in a calm atmosphere and in compliance with the social distancing and face masks protocols to check COVID-19. The opposite seems to be the case at the Wuse Zone 3 Center, where a small crowd wait to be enrolled. Frustrations are still noticeable despite the steady progress.
Since morning, nobody is attending to us. They will come and pick maybe 5 of us, and they will stay 5 hours inside, while others are inside some.
They should look onto it, please. We are all in pains. Look at many of us. Even some people came before me. There's a Umar here, he came on 6. He has not done it. And they said they have various centers. And if you go to another center, it's the same challenges that you are facing.
While NIMSI waits for more systems from telcos operators to speed up the enrollment process, there is optimism of achieving the desired results within the stipulated period. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
I will take you to Niger State now, where the race is still on for NIN registration, with crowds of applicants besieging the National Identity Management Commission designated centers in parts of the state to beat the deadline for registration, verification and subsequent linking of their national identity number to their SIM cards. Abdullahi Suleimanyaji monitored the exercise and now reports.
Available records from the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy indicate that over 47.8 million national identification numbers have been submitted to telecommunications operators following a directive for subscribers to link national identity numbers to SIMs before stipulated deadlines, leaving 84% of mobile subscribers at the risk of having their SIM blocked. Out of this number are residents of Tafa and Suleja local governments.
Since morning I was here, I couldn't get anything.
Local government authorities and those saddled with the registration exercise bore their minds on the uphill task.
The best I should even advise the organization to do is to make it online. You can go to any computer office and make your registration and make things easy.
The machine cannot carry the level of National Identity Management Commission.
Many applicants appealed for the extension of the registration deadline to allow them complete the process. Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji, NTA News.
Thank you, Abdullahi. It is good news for prospective members of the All Progressives Congress who intend to formalize their membership of the party during the forthcoming membership registration and revalidation exercise set to commence next week. Chairman, Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee of APC, Governor Mai Malabuni said strong sanctions await defaulters of the exercise, and Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara has that.
The party will deal decisively with anyone or group who attempt hijacking the exercise.
In addition, he is confident that the party has adequate backup materials to ensure a successful exercise and that no one is disenfranchised during the exercise expected to commence on the 25th January 2021. Being the second exercise since its formation as a political party in 2013, the party, Governor Muni says, is expecting to harvest more members into the Progressives family.
Millions of youth who attain the age of 18 years and above have joined the party within this period could not be registered. I'm very sure that our figures in the register will surge into quadruples or even more to further prove that APC is indeed Nigeria's largest and leading political party.
Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello is the chairman of the 11-man member registration and revalidation committee inaugurated.
What is important is the success of the party at all elections. And once we achieve that, there will always be a room for someone. So Your Excellency will take this assignment seriously.
As the days draw nearer to the exercise, the APC Caretaker Committee made it clear that it will not condone any act of sabotage, denying any group or an individual from actively participating during the forthcoming exercise.
And it's going to be very severe for those found wanting. So that is something we will never tolerate and we won't tolerate.
From the APC National Secretariat in Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
And up ahead on News Extra, as a good number of the security and enforcement agencies have been sneezing, so also are many on the wrong side of the law catching cold. I guess you're familiar with the saying that evil thrive when good men fold their arms and do nothing about it. Well, an individual is making a difference in that regard at this period when the country is grappling with insecurity. Keep it locked on News Extra for details when we return. You're welcome back. This next story is a good example of the role religious, community and traditional rulers should be playing in these trying times. We hear in continuation of his efforts to sensitize Fulani herders and rural dwellers against acts of banditry. A Kaduna-based Islamic scholar, Sheikh Ahmed Mahmoud Gumi, has secured a truce between groups of armed bandits in some volatile areas of Birnungwari and Giwa local government areas of Kaduna State. Suleiman Abdullahi Rugachkun reports on the latest on the mission.
Sheikh Ahmed Mahmoud Gumi, leading a group of Islamic scholars, and the Commissioner of Police Kaduna State Command, Umar Muri, who represented the Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu, to dialogue and educate headsmen on the need to renounce kidnapping and banditry in Gamagera local government area of Kaduna State. Both of them at the forum, including 25 commanders, agreed to lay down their arms and turn a new leaf, pledging to support the initiative as a demonstration of their trust and belief in the peace advocacy embarked upon by Sheikh Ahmad Mahmoud Gumi.
Kai kira
Komandojin daji sun karba.
Being a follow-up to the recent visit to Kaduna-Abuja Road, the interface with Fulani herders in Birnin Gwari, Giwa and Soba areas of Kaduna State is seen by many as a great success.
I appeal to you all to have trust in us. We will assist you in many positive ways.
I plead with you in the name of God to renounce all forms of crimes. The cleric also laid foundation for the grazing reserve for herders at Gamagira, Soba local government area. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachkung, NTA News.
A wonderful development, I must say. Crude oil theft has remained a major challenge to security agencies in the country. But while the Nigerian Navy and other security agencies continue to record successes in the fight against oil theft, the perpetrators of the criminal act seem unrelenting, as Olubukola Aduwo reports.
Statistics from the Nigerian Extractive Transparency Initiative (NTA) indicate that Nigeria loses over 138,400 barrels of crude per day, which is around 7% of the country's total production, especially to theft. Worried by the huge revenue loss and the attendant degradation of the environment, the federal government, through the Nigerian Navy, set up the Swam Boogie operations in riverine areas of the country, which has recovered over 75 billion naira worth of stolen petroleum products in 5 years. This naval anti-theft initiative has been most effective in riverine communities in Ondo State. For instance, the Naval Forward Operating Base, Igbokoda, during one of his routine patrols in the oil-producing Ilaje local government area of the state, apprehended 24 suspects with some of their tools of operations. Also intercepted were 150 drums of illegally refined diesel parked in 6 wooden boats.
I am appealing to the general public, especially the communities where we operate, that security of lives and property is no longer one-man business.
The suspects are not denying their involvement in the crime. It is what drove them into the illegal activities that varies.
I have to find something to also to myself. For me not to be on the street roaming around, that's why.
The suspects are now being handed over to relevant security agencies for further investigation and prosecution. In Akure, Olubukola Aduwo, NTA News.
Here's a question. What do the Nigerian Air Force and Eagle Wings have in common? I'll answer that. Well, Eagle Wings is Nigerian Air Force commissioned homemade movie that depicts what the military is going through so we can sleep with our 2 eyes closed, especially in the Northeast. Defense correspondent Naja Atutijani has details of the unveiling.
Loyalty, courage, chivalry and strength of character, attributes of the eagle most commonly equated with the Nigerian Air Force fighter pilot. Now, all this is being captured in a blockbuster movie, Eagle Wings, an Air Force story. Boasting an all-star cast of Nollywood actors, it offers a glimpse of the role of the Air Task Force and the Special Forces Regiment known as the Panthers in the fight against insurgency. NTA was at the private screening of the yet-to-be-released action film.
Eagle Wings will make the personnel themselves work even harder because they will see that actually people appreciate them.
With Armed Forces Remembrance Day still fresh in the hearts of Nigerians, the movie, shot in 3 different locations with technical advice and support from the Nigerian Air Force, also offers an opportunity to appreciate patriotism.
It has always been my desire to see the Nigerian Air Force break new frontiers that will not only place the service on the pedestal of landmark achievements, but also set the pace for others to emulate our collective efforts at securing our nation.
All the characters in the movie reflect the pain, sacrifice and glory associated with military life, and also highlights the synergy of the armed forces of Nigeria. 3 of the characters are also modeled on real-life heroes, all former air chiefs.
The experience of understanding how the Air Force functions, what they do, to protect us, how far they go to put themselves and, and their families, on the line. to just keep us safe.
Eagle Wings is not just a Nigerian Air Force story. It has at its heart patriotism and the love for our country. The reactions from the audience during the private screening is anything to go by. The movie promises to be a game changer in shaping the mindset of Nigerians towards supporting the armed forces of Nigeria. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Can't wait to watch the movie, Naja. In a bid to enhance aircraft operations in the Niger Delta region, Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, has inaugurated blocks of accommodation and computerized tomography scan machine for airmen and women in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Robinson Derataide reports that the Chief of the Air Staff says this is in preparation for the special mission aircrafts to be deployed in the region.
Of 115 SOG Port Harcourt.
A block of 30 by 1 bedroom accommodation was built at the Nigerian Air Force Base in Port Harcourt to provide shelter for personnel, as well as the installation of a computerized tomography scan machine at the Air Force Reference Hospital for officers and the public to have access to quality diagnosis of ailments. Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, says the Nigerian Air Force will soon deploy 3 special mission aircrafts to be based in Benin for proper surveillance of the nation's maritime domain. Hence, the accommodation and medical facility becomes imperative for the welfare of personnel.
The role of 115 SOG in what we are doing in terms of dealing with the security challenges of Nigeria cannot be overemphasized. So this accommodation is put in place in preparation of receiving the 3 special mission aircrafts, which we are expecting very soon.
The CT scan facility will serve as a support to the provision of good health services both within the Nigerian Air Force and the Niger Delta region of the country.
His entourage also inspected ongoing classroom buildings at the Air Force Secondary School in Port Harcourt. Robinson Derataide, NTA News.
In another development, of the community-based policing strategy has continued to gain precedence as an effective method for security and crime prevention in the society. Leon Leneke reports that this was demonstrated during the inauguration of 5 projects at Area B Force Headquarters in Apapa.
Safe work environment no doubt motivates staff to deliver on targets, especially when facilities are up to date. This is the case with the Area B Command Headquarters of the Nigerian Police Force in Apapa, as the police formation transforms from a dilapidated state of its facilities to what can now be described as a befitting work environment. The Area Commander, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Akimbayo Olasukomi, on resumption, decided to give the facility a facelift. 2 new blocks of 15 offices and laundry were added to the existing structures.
We spend ample times of our daily lives in the office. So I do not see anything wrong in keeping or renovating my command to such an extent that it will improve the quality service delivery of my officers and men.
He put a class of excellence, distinct, into what he's doing there.
The Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 2, Ahmed Ilyasu, commended the leadership of the command for the initiative, emphasizing the importance of community policing to the success of the force in curbing crime.
We are seeing the dividend it has taken root. It means community problem has different solutions to profile, not only to the security architecture, but to other aspects of the welfare of the society.
Reducing crime and criminality through communal efforts is what has been demonstrated at the Area B Police Command Headquarters. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Increasing statistics of drug addiction, especially among youths in Kano, has compelled the evolution of multidimensional approaches in tackling the problem headlong. For the NDLEA in Kano State, the focus now is on rehabilitation and integration of drug addicts into mainstream of the society, in addition to seizure of illicit drugs and arrest of drug dealers. Yohannes Hassan Barrow reports that more than 1,000 addicts were rehabilitated last year.
Before now, drug abuse has eaten deep into the fabric of development in Kano State, where it is reported that the state has the highest prevalence of substance abuse in the country. In 2020 alone, the command succeeded in destructing not less than 11 acres of Indian hemp plantation, a clandestine laboratory, and seizure of 0.38 grams of heroin, as well as 0.138 grams of cocaine. It was a bumper harvest by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency command here in Kano, as in 2020 alone it was able to intercept more than 9 tons of psychotropic substances, among them more than 7 tons of cannabis sativa. It has reiterated commitment to bring Kano down below the ladder this year. It was rated as the 6th, as against the 1st by the United Nations in previous years.
Apart from that, we had 87 convictions, which included 84 males and 3 females. We screened will be commissioners, will be permanent secretaries, and we also screened those to be appointed offices of chiefs by the Emir of Kano.
In addition to the seizure, more than 1,000 drug addicts were also rehabilitated by the command in their under review. This young undergraduate student of computer engineering is among those currently undergoing rehabilitation.
There's nothing you can do, more especially when it's been long. You cannot control it. Things like the rehab are things you need.
His story has, however, changed with the counseling by the narcotic officers.
Times when you have a break from the drugs, you yourself will ever realize that using is not cool at all, and you won't intend to go back.
With these efforts, the life of these young students and others living on the streets of Kano will bring a new look to life in no distant future. In Kano, Yohannes Hassan Barrow, NTA News.
Let's talk road safety. The Federal Road Safety Corps will begin to arrest commercial and articulated vehicles without the speed limiting device properly installed in their vehicles. Corps Marshal FRSC Buba Oyeyemi announced this while reiterating the need for vision acuity test to be carried out by drivers as part of measures to curb road crashes in the country. Oyeyemi Ajay reports.
Between 20th December 2020 and 15th January 2021, 581 deaths were recorded from road crashes in the country. Overspeeding, fatigue, brake failure, lane indiscipline, amongst others, have been identified as major causes. But the FRSC has emphasized that absence of speed limiting device in most of these commercial and articulated vehicles plying the road has been a major contributor. However, this first virtual meeting with transport stakeholders by the FRSC is to address these problems with decision on enforcing the presidential order on curbing road crashes in the country.
All commercial vehicles, irrespective of the category, must cause their members to install speed limiting device. We have about 80 vendors. In addition, we are calling for compulsory vision acuity tests for the drivers. Most of the drivers don't see well at night. We are now directing all the stakeholders as a matter of urgency to activate the vision acuity test for all their drivers.
The transport stakeholders commended the FRSC for efforts made so far in ridding the highway of crashes as they cooperate with the Corps.
We have aligned with the Corps in the area of this we call phase 2. That is the safety valve.
The Corps Marshal also charged the transporters to adhere strictly to COVID-19 directive with enforcement of the use of face masks in the vehicles as well as a 50% capacity reduction of passengers. In Abuja,
Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Commandant National Defense College, Rear Admiral Makanju Maxon Kadiri, says the establishment of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission NIDCOM by the federal government is very strategic and a stopgap between Nigeria and her over 70 million diasporans. The Commandant stated this at a lecture for course 29 participants in Abuja. Kelvin Ubunai reports.
The good work of NIDCOM in harnessing the vast potential of the over 17 million Nigerians in the diaspora for national development, the Commandant says, is commendable.
So we're happy that the Nigerian Diaspora Commission was set up and is taking very giant strides in the actualization of its mandate.
The chairman of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, who delivered a lecture on migration, diaspora and Africa's development, explained that mainstreaming dialogue on migration to achieve managed migration is a better option as opposed to irregular migration.
Irregular migration, which has been a subject of discussion for a long time in this country, and which we have for a while been talking about here in Nigeria and NIDCOM, where you have people just moving from one place to the other without the proper documentation. And irregular migration is a big problem in the world, and I keep telling Nigerians it's getting tougher now. Where you went before, irregularly is more difficult now. So we keep saying, try to avoid irregular migration.
Participants of Course 29 and other key partners commended the chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora, for her interventions on matters affecting Nigerians in the diaspora. In Abuja, Kelvin Ebonwaye, NTA News.
So far, so good. We take another breather at this time, after which we bring you trending stories around COVID-19. Stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. Patients who have malaria-like symptoms in Lagos State will henceforth undergo COVID-19 test before treatment. Governor Sanwo-Olu made this known while briefing journalists on latest efforts by government towards flattening the curve of the pandemic. Musa Toliet has details.
Ajide Sanwo-Olu said, with the increasing number of COVID-19 cases daily, especially in January, ranging between 214 and 910, it has become extremely necessary not to take chances, but to subject all patients with malaria symptoms to COVID-19 tests. The governor hinted that it is not all tears of woe in the state, as the medical team has intensified efforts in collaboration with 20 private laboratory consortium to boost the testing capacity, which now revolves between 2,500 and 3,500 per day.
This alarming trend has necessitated plans to reopen some of our previously established isolation centers. It is our hope that this would support our efforts towards containing the rising case and flattening of the curve in the shortest possible time.
Governor Ajide Sanwo-Olu shed more light on the controversy surrounding the stay-at-home order for civil servants on grade level 14 and below and resumption of schools.
Each ministry also has a calendarization. There's a roster of people that are within level 1 to 14 that are also allowed to come. So it's not everybody, it's not blanket, but just to ensure that the enforcement is real.
He disclosed that as at 17th January, Lagos had recorded 41,374 cases. Out of this number, 28,452 have recovered, while fatality rate stands at 277. In Lagos, Musa Tolia, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Kano State government is considering the enforcement of the use of face masks as part of preventive measures against community transmission of COVID-19. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje stated this during a stakeholders meeting with traditional rulers at the Kano Government House. Abdullahi Mustafa has the report.
The meeting with traditional rulers is part of consultations with stakeholders to identify effective ways of preventing further transmission of COVID-19. It involves emirs and selected district heads from various parts of the state. They were shown how the previously flattened epidemic curve is rising in terms of positivity rate and fatalities. The situation Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje observes is worrisome and requires support and cooperation of traditional institutions in awareness creation. He also warned that when people fail to comply with the infection prevention and control protocols, especially the use of face masks, enforcement will be the next line of action.
Because the use of the mask, I think, is the first preventive measure that we have to adhere to.
Deputy Governor and Chairman Kano State Task Force on COVID-19, Nasir Yusuf Gauna, also disclosed plans to enforce the ban on the operations of events and sports viewing centers. Emir of Kano Amina Ado Bayero assured of traditional rulers' support towards mitigating the spread of the viral disease in the state. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
And as the second wave of COVID-19 sweeps across the country and schools reopen, it is critical to ensure comprehensive and efficient environmental health actions in all schools. Thankfully, the Federal Ministry of Environment says it is adopting continuous primary preventive measures by disinfecting schools of dangerous pests and vectors. The measure is in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Education. Onengifa Face tells us more.
Decontamination of public places is a critical part of Nigeria's response to COVID-19. Several public places, including schools, offices, and markets, were decontaminated at the onset of the virus in the country. With the second wave of the pandemic already causing damage in the country, the Federal Ministry of Environment is remodeling the decontamination exercise from a one-off process to a continuous one, beginning with federal government colleges across the country.
Viruses, bacteria, and some other microbes or pathogens, if you call them collectively, that can cause disease, can be eliminated by this decontamination and disinfection, because we use chemicals that are potent enough to kill viruses, bacteria, and the rest of them on contact.
This is achieved through interministerial collaboration with the Ministry of Education.
To implement the 8th resolution of the National Council on Environment.
Minister of Environment, Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar, wants the Ministry of Education to establish environmental health departments in tertiary education institutions to promote professionalism in environmental health and sanitation services in Nigeria. Onengiye Fine Face, NTA News.
The coronavirus pandemic has taken its toll on nearly all facets of life, with the educational sector not spared either. This has led to different measures being adopted to contain the disease, such just as the academia struggle to keep its head above water owing to the attendant financial difficulties. BEM Higher examines the impact of the virus on educational activities and programs in Benue State and the reaction of stakeholders.
On March 19, 2020, the federal government directed that schools across the country be closed to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Many students by now should have left school, should have been thinking that they are going in for NYC, leaving NYC and thinking about the next thing to do. That in itself is a huge challenge in terms of quality, in terms of productivity for a nation like ours.
Although some private primary schools in Benue State attempted giving online lessons to their pupils, the idea was later abandoned owing to the cost the schools incurred.
We are not very conversant with the internet, which provides the platform for e-learning. Not even the teachers, not even the students are computer literate enough to imbibe e-learning.
The whole lot the children were supposed to learn for third term, it wasn't achieved. Although we went online and had online classes, but the impact is not as it would have been if we had physical contact with the children.
Experts say for online schooling to be implemented in Nigeria, massive investment needs to be made in the procurement of digital equipment and the training and retraining of teachers.
We have actually trained about 2,235 UB principals and head teachers in the state so that they will take proper care of all this training.
The Benin State University, Makurdi, has lost 4 of its professors to COVID-19 since last year. Now that academic activities have jump-started in Benue and other parts of the country, there may be the need for stakeholders at all levels of education to develop and adopt other means of teaching and learning, which have hitherto been alien in this part of the world. In Makurdi, Bem Hanya, NTA News.
From Makurdi, we'll take you to Loring, where the federal government's conditional cash transfer, which is one of the initiatives of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, has been putting smiles on people's faces and alleviating poverty at various levels. Olajide Bello in this report takes us on a journey to some communities in Irrigation local government area of Kwara State, where education is receiving a boost as a result of the conditional cash transfer.
Meet 12-year-old Muhammad Ahmed, a primary 6 student of nomadic LGA Nigerian primary school who was born and bred in Agidingbi to a family of 5. His parents are farmers and herders for 30 years running. Despite his background, Muhammad has big dreams of becoming a medical doctor. This, he says, he will pursue vigorously, which made him pick up the interest and zeal to learn.
4 plus 2, it will give us what? 6. If you know it, raise up, stand up and raise up your hands. Yes? 6. The answer is 6. Clap for him.
Little drops of water, they say, makes a mighty ocean. And for nomadic LGEA Nigerian primary school in Agidingbi, this is the mighty ocean, a community effort by the women who are benefiting from the federal government's Trader Money initiative. The first structure, which served as his citadel of learning, according to him, was like Operation Desert Storm, with many challenges. To help Muhammad actualize his dream, the women in the community deemed it fit to save a portion from their conditional cash transfer to secure the education of their children.
We get wet whenever it rains, and when the weather is hot, we go under the tree to continue our learning.
We are still calling on government for assistance with the school bus.
Onila community has a similar story as some members of the community, and the headmaster of St. Luke's LGA Primary School recounts with nostalgia their efforts to boost education in their community.
They take 2,000 to start the school because of children, because they no fit waka go to Agbamu or go to Umido.
These feats by women of both communities caught the attention of Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, who refunded the initial money spent by the women and gave the communities ray of hope.
The government is going to complete the schools for people of this community. Now, apart from that, the people of the community also made some other requests, such as water, I think electricity, which His Excellency has said is going to look into.
With moves by the state government to turn the fortunes of both communities for the better, the dreams of Muhammad is no longer bleak but bright and achievable. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
In another development, the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) is set to float a talent hunt project aimed at empowering creative youths and women through social and economic opportunities that the creative industry can offer. The program is in collaboration with a leading artist from the Niger Delta.
A project which is in collaboration with a leading artist and songwriter Okiri Harry, popularly known as Harry Song, from the Niger Delta, is aimed at harnessing the creative potentials of Niger Delta youths, thereby making them self-reliant. The NDDC boss, represented by Director Youth and Sports, Effion Ephraim, noted the Commission's commitment to execute projects that would engage the youths meaningfully.
This is just the beginning of greater things to come for the people of the Niger Delta, for the youths of the region, which we want to see them being more meaningfully engaged so as to stem the tide of restiveness.
Considering the rich cultural heritage and diverse religious background that the region is blessed with, Special Advisor to the Interim Administrator, NDDC Odens Eradiri, said the project will be an all-inclusive one that will tell the true story of the Niger Delta.
So I know that a lot of young people are struggling. The NDDC as a vehicle is a catalyst to support young people to the next level. And that's the role that we will be playing. And you are not an exception. We want you to be our ambassadors as you have always been, to show to the world that yes, things have changed.
So if you are a Christian, you can sing, a Christian comedian, or you are a Christian, you can dance, a Muslim, you can sing, you can dance, a Buddhist self. As far as you have the talents, come on this platform and be discovered and be made a star.
Similarly, the president Miss Niger Delta Organization, Prince Sodin, lauded the Niger Delta Development Commission for empowering the youths of the region through various empowerment schemes. The NDDC since inception has continued to support various youth empowerment programs to better their lots.
That's a good one from the Niger Delta there. Efforts at food security upswing, the abandoned Abuja light rail. What about it? Details when we return from this next break we are about to take. See you shortly. Good to have you back on News Extra. Timely remittance of taxes is said to be one of the ways to grow an economy in a pandemic period. More importantly is the indirect tax. Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mohammed Nami, disclosed this while playing host to media executives in Abuja. Benny Adams has that.
Seated in the open air are chief executives of major media houses in the country. They have been invited to join the aggressive revenue drive of the FIRS. Their host, Mohammed Nami, tells the story of a property agent who collects rent from tenants on behalf of the landlord. Instead of remitting such monies, he keeps it for himself in addition to his commission. Mohammed Nami gave this illustration to drive home what the federal government is facing in terms of remittances of revenue generated on behalf of the government. He appeals to all to join the campaign of tax remittances to aid quick recovery of the economy.
Before now, because of the strategic nature and or position of NNPC in Nigeria, the proceeds from oil and gas is usually around 50% of what these three tiers of government share. But since April in question, the table has changed to the extent that FIRS now contribute between 65 and 70% on monthly basis to their amount shared by the three tiers of government monthly at FACT meetings.
Some of the guests advocate strategic communication to drive home the campaign.
I want all public office holders and private office holders to see us as patriots, as co-builders, and as partners in progress.
Mahmoud Abdullahi called me. He said that young man will make a difference in FIRS. He's very humble, he's very good. I said, let us keep our fingers crossed. And you have demonstrated that with 4.9 trillion taxes.
The FIRS in the year ended generated 4.9 trillion naira, meeting 98% of target set for the year. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Thank you, Benny. Let's talk on agriculture now. One of the ways of ensuring food sufficiency is irrigation agriculture, as it guarantees all year-round farming. It is on this premise that irrigation farmers in Plateau State are appealing to governments to assist them by providing modern facilities to boost their activities. Alisa Batu Andrew has the details.
Irrigation farming in Nigeria dates back to the 19th century, where a majority of irrigation sites were located in naturally flooded swamps. As years went by, irrigation farming became more and more mechanized, hence substantial investment by government through schemes for the farmers. Farmers in Plateau State are not left out of irrigation farming as they engage in the cultivation of crops. Irrigation farming to these farmers who till the land for years has reduced food insecurity and poverty to them.
Irrigation farming is business, and I will say that it is a lucrative business.
Now the irrigation farming is good, but we have challenge in terms of insect. They used to affect the potato if you didn't apply the insecticide. So to get the insecticides is not an easy.
It's a big challenge for me in particular, in the sense that the lines, the water lines that we are seeing, they are not sufficient.
The Plateau State Agricultural Development Project scored the state high for keying into federal government projects ranging from training, provision of improved seedling, to fertilizer distribution for high yield.
We encourage the farmers to go into dry season where there is that potential for the dry season farming. The dry season also ensure food security, and food security is very, very important for the community, for the farmer, and for even the nation at large.
Stakeholders urge the farmers to sustain their effort in food sufficiency. In Jos, Alisa Batukai Andrew, NTA News.
Rural women capacity in post-harvest value chain is gradually improving for income diversification and food sufficiency in line with the federal government's transformation agenda in the agricultural sector. Kenneth Nanim reports that more than 40 women are being empowered in Tudunwada community of Nasarawa State as a first step measure to drive the robust initiative under the JICA Alumni Association of Nigeria.
The federal government of Nigeria banned importation of rice and some agricultural produce to encourage indigenous production of these staple foods, and the ban is also to promote local consumption and for the sustenance of economic viability. But one of the challenges being faced here by farmers is how to make their farm produce compete favorably with other products in the local and global markets. Mary Yusuf is among the peasant rice farmers in Tudunwada, Karo local government area of Nasarawa State, whose produce are usually graded as inferior to other products in the markets by consumers due to the crude method being deployed in the post-production of rice. Being one of the groups of 5 selected based on their interest, she and other women have been equipped with the new techniques that will help them step up in the post-production of rice to meet with quality and standards in terms of nutritional value, texture and appearance.
You know, our people just put the rice inside the pot, put water, then heat and boil the rice. You don't do that way. You like steam heating. That is the reason why we use a false bottom.
People have been testifying about this new method. There are far differences. You will not find stone inside, you will not find sand inside the rice. The rice will be clean like foreign rice.
And with this, I think I will be able to show other women how to do their rice, coming up with very clean rice that can even compete with the foreign rice.
This initiative to change the narrative is coming free of charge from beneficiaries of Japan International Cooperation Agency as a way of giving back to the society.
At least it will help them to support themselves, support the family, get an income. If they can produce it at their doorstep, I think the malnutrition we are crying about will help us to eradicate it, yes.
It would have been an improvement on the traditional way of our handling, processing rice here.
The organizers and beneficiaries are on the same page on the expectation of the program to not only improve the quality of rice produced by Mary Yusuf and her likes, but will also create jobs for other people to cushion the effects of COVID-19 and to mitigate post-harvest losses. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
And suspended by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 due to the outbreak of the deadly coronavirus disease, the FCT Abuja Light Rail remains grounded. But expectations remain high among Abuja residents towards resumption of the rail system as other services are gradually picking up. Rosemary Multilengbila tells us more.
Commonly
known as Abuja Light Rail is a light rail transport system in the FCT, which is the first rapid transport system in the country and in West Africa, and the second such system in sub-Saharan Africa. The Abuja metro stations are an addition to the city transport system, linking the city center with the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, among others, which also create access to the Idu industrial layout.
Being able to get the light rails up and running is something that I feel will be something that's quite good for Nigerians. It gets you to town, it's easier to access for just about everybody without the entire stress of the airport environment and all of that. So it's something that if it comes back on, I think it will be really good for Nigerians.
The train services were suspended to curb the spread of COVID-19, a situation that has left passengers and users begging for a return to a status quo to fast-track accessibility to the Abuja Industrial District for ease of business and rapid industrialization of the nation's capital.
This is where I work, and people usually come, they'll ask for the train, and the train is not moving from here. They have to go to Idu railway station. Yeah, and some of them have been complaining, why is the train not moving up to now? And we told them, we don't know what's happening.
It was useful, very useful. It would have been nice at least, because of this COVID and whatsoever. It would have been assisted.
Conceived with the intent to ease the flow of traffic in the nation's capital, in and outs for air travelers, the Abuja Light Rail, with the mission of being the milestone of a new Abuja city transport system made possible by the federal government, in line with its plan of making the capital center a media city, is suffering setback, though efforts to speak with the management of the FCT Transport Secretariat is yet to yield results. Rosemary Molteleng Bilal, NTA News.
Time now for a peep into the world of sports with Tamara Ibiwe as our guide.
Welcome to Sports Update. I am Tamara Ibiwe. The fourth One Service One Medal Games began at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, with 592 athletes competing for honors.
We have young guys that are talented. However, it's going to be difficult, but I believe that at the end of it, police will come on top.
Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, Nebolisa Anako, declared the event open.
We will be committed to the continued organization of the One Service, One Medal Game. I wish to officially declare open the 4th edition of the One Service, One Medal Games. I wish all of you eventful days as we compete in this game.
The agencies include Correctional Service, Fire Service, the Nigeria Police, Federal Road Safety Corps, Nigerian Air Force, and the Nigerian Navy. In wrestling, more qualifications for the Tokyo Olympic Games are expected at the African Championships built for El Jadida, Morocco in April. National coach Purity Aku says Team Nigeria wrestlers are in good shape after their display at the just-ended Baraza Champion of Champions tournament in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State.
I'm very satisfied with the performance of our athletes. It shows we still have some serious wrestlers.
World number 1 in the 57 kg class, Oduwayo Adekworoye, is the only wrestler that has qualified for the Olympics. And that's it on Sports Updates. I am Tamara Ibiwe.
The Royal House of Obi Justin Nkeze Nwoko in Idumuje, Ugboko, Delta State, has announced the death of its 4th son, Prince Martin Nwoko, aged 92. Prince Nwoko was a renowned educationist who was instrumental in developing comprehensive education in Nigeria, a system that understood that everyone had a purpose in the society and cannot be doctors and lawyers alone. He also paid school fees for family members and strangers alike. He will be buried on Friday, 22nd of January, in his family compound after the funeral service at St. Matthew's Anglican Church, Idumuje, Uboko, Aniocha North, Delta State, by 10 a.m. Prince Martin Ezedimbu Nwoko is survived by a wife, 5 children, and 12 grandchildren. The death has also occurred of Michael Abunyi Kayerima, aged 77. Late Michael Abunyi Kayerima passed away on the 11th of January 2021 after a protracted illness. Burial arrangement, as announced by the family, indicates that a funeral mass will be held on Friday, 22nd of January at the Holy Family Catholic Church, Lukwe, Roa, Takum, Taraba State, at 10 o'clock in the morning, while interment follows immediately at his residence after polyclinic of Coal Tar for Banagudu, Takum, Taraba State. Late Michael Abunyi Kayerima is survived by wife, children and grandchildren, amongst whom is Engineer Michael Yerima of the Engineering Department of the NTA. And on that note, we conclude News Extra for tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Please stay safe. I am Fatima Umar Buba.